Tim, welcome to Watch One. Thanks for logging on. Today we are looking at the Devon Tread 2 Redrum Murder. In black DLC, 44 millimeters across its massive tonneau case, you can see this Devon Tread 2 chronograph and take it home on our website, watchyouwant.com. And if you enjoy these videos, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, Watch You Want Inc. Now, yes, the Devon Tread 2 is a chronograph. The follow-up to the 2010 Devon Tread 1, 2012's Tread 2 launched the first complicated Devon Tread. This is a quartz watch with an electro-mechanical movement that uses nylon belts to tell time. Now that you have the basic gist of it, take a look at the fit on my wrist, because I want to emphasize at 6 1/3 inches, 16 centimeters in circumference, my wrist is small, this watch is big, and yet somehow they work together. Now, I don't know if it's just American ingenuity, and I'm going to give a shout out to the home country there, but ergonomically, this watch is excellent, and for what's basically a first run at a tonneau case, Devon Works of California pretty much nailed it. Here's the key. The case does have camber. It's subtle but present and much appreciated, and it's best demonstrated by the sharply downturned lugs that are nicely integrated into a very flexible calfskin red strap. Now, this is the Redrum limited edition, and you'll notice that the imagery is to suit. But the key thing about this strap, as outlandish as it is the ergonomic excellence of it. Soft, it's calf on both sides, so it has a buttery feel on the wrist, and Devon gives you a common sense, easily adjustable pin buckle. The star of the show, however, isn't the strap, it isn't the case, it isn't even the fact that this one's a complication. It's the fundamental principle of telling time with belts. Now, to start up, you press the button on the crown, you wake up the device, and now you can see the time. I'm going to turn it off so you can get a load of what's actually being displayed when the watch is inactive. This is a power reserve scale. That's right, the minutes belt becomes a power reserve scale, so you can see how much of the battery life, it is a lithium ion with approximately a 2-week life, actually remains usable. So you can see there's the index right there. It's about 50%. Bring it back to life. Now the watch is going to assume the current time of day. When it's off, it maintains a timing device internally so that it knows the time even though it's not displaying it. Kind of like the FP Journe Elegant, but a little bit more masculine, a lot more dramatic. And the bottom line is this one has drama that's all kinds of covert. Let's focus on the chronograph. The first Devon Tread, which was broad and rectangular in shape, had a constant seconds belt. Now this one does have constant seconds, but first I'm going to unveil the main technical evolution of the Tread 2, which is the chronograph system. Now you can see I press down, I pull up, and the watch enters chronograph mode. Now for our purposes, this is Tread speak, 12 represents 0. So now that I push down and I pulled up on the crown lever, I simply push the crown button, and now the constant seconds of the chronograph function are in progress. Now you see, like a conventional chronograph, I can press the trigger again to stop it, and although it is a mono pusher, strictly speaking, the functionality is of a dual pusher system. So I can press it and resume timing just as if I'd started, stopped, and then resumed a conventional chronograph. Now if I want to just stop it, I press down, I reset the chronograph. I pull up, now I return the watch to time-telling mode, and it's got one more trick. Now, like I mentioned, the original Tread 1 had 3 belts, one for hours, one for minutes, and one for constant seconds. Well, Devon wanted to make the constant seconds optional. Some people didn't like the sense that they had a miniature metronome on their wrist, and the movement is fairly vocal, so you hear it when it's running. But if you do want constant seconds on the Tread 2, you simply depress the crown lever and you hold it until the constant seconds function starts. So you really have it all here. The power reserve, the constant seconds, hours, and minutes of the Tread 1, albeit segmented a bit, plus a chronograph function that's both cleverly integrated and fun to use. This is a watch that represents something fairly different. It's the closest thing we've seen since the old 1970s Beta 21s, perhaps the Accutrons, maybe you could even compare it to something like a Seiko Spring Drive, but it's almost like a time device that crosses genres. It incorporates a little bit of what makes mechanical watches so magical, the wonder of a little machine that has many independent moving parts, a high standard of fit, finish, and assembly, and a life to its own. And yet it does give you the power reserve of a battery with the accuracy of a quartz watch. Now, I'd be remiss not to mention some of the aesthetic refinements of the Tread 2 that set it apart from the Tread 1. Naturally, we're looking at a more wearable case, far smaller, 44 millimeters from lug to lug. It's about 42 millimeters wide and 15 millimeters thick. But what really sets this one apart from a durability standard is that not only is it a sapphire crystal now over the face of the watch, so like you'd expect on a luxury watch, scratch-proof. The Tread one was so large that the sapphire, being thin, would shatter. They went with thermoplastic. This one's smaller, so they can use a scratch-resistant sapphire. But it's also the first Tread to feature a measure of water resistance. Now, it's 10 meters, so you're not going to want to take this one in water of any kind, but it is safe for splashing, for washing your hands. You don't have to shy away from proper hygiene when you're wearing the Tread 2. A worthwhile evolution if ever there were one. Now you can see that this watch is fully electronic, so naturally there has to be some way to get the charge into it. It's done with an inductive charging dock that comes with the watch, so it charges wirelessly. You simply put it on its cradle, and then it'll revert to its power reserve mode, so you can see how much charge is in it at any given time. The watch charges up fully in about 4 hours, but you can get a substantial 80% charge in about 40 minutes. You can see this Devon Tread 2 Redrum Murder limited edition and take it home on our website, watchyouwant.com.